First place shirt. That is an awful, awful sharp shirt. They're cooling down this big monster here. And here we are over this one's how many colors, Andy?
It's 12.
This one's 12 color. He's got 2 M&Rs. Said good things about Mr. Hoffman, which just about everybody does. This is that Lady Annabelle?
Yeah, this is the Lady Annabelle. Yeah.
I'd get lost with this many heads. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, sir.
How many colors is this job?
It is 12.
12 colors.
We take advantage of the capacity of the machine.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I got to cut everything down to 6.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we used to do.
Which, I mean, I can't print like you, but I mean, I pull off stuff out of my butt sometimes.
We run all the colors up to this point, and then it flashes there, and use the touch plate for a highlight line of glass. So sometimes that helps to bring out some of the highlights and the flesh tones, or the art, or the design, or whatever. But and then the black captures the detail, because this design is run on several different types of shirts and colors.
Yeah. That's up there for them to look at, right?
Yeah.
I noticed so many shops. I do that too.
Yeah, that's the reference for the printers.
Yeah.
And then we have one at the back there, as you saw too.
Right. And if anything gets out of court, they got to
Yeah, they
do
have
something.
a quick reference to it.
Now this Challenger over here, how many colors is this?
This is 14.
14.
Yeah. So it doesn't have anything on it because they just finished their job. So cleaning today.
Yeah. When you let them have holiday too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We finished up all of our big stuff, so that won't start back up until after Christmas.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's something else where all that lint can get, ain't it?
It's an every good and granted, it is. But,
Yep.
but you can see these machines have run over 700,000 shirts in the last 60 days, so they're in pretty good shape.
Well, the guys need a day off, don't they?
Yeah. I don't see that much build-up or lint on them. I mean, they look pretty
that's
new.
like you just about just set it up.
Yeah.
How often do y'all have to do that?
Run the job? Or?
No, clean up.
Oh, cleanup? We do a basic cleanup every night of the work area and the press and pallets. And then we're doing all-over cleanup, usually not every couple of weeks or every week, once a week.
What do you use for pallet adhesive?
Pallet adhesive. We have water base, and then we have the spray can stuff. And when we're running, like we're running, a lot of times it's easier to use just the spray can stuff because we can keep running. We don't have to stop and let it dry and then rework it.
Have you ever used the spray water base, like in one of those big?
No, we don't have one.
That's why I use a little bitty auto gun and use that.
Yeah, a lot of people talk real good about that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We've used both, and this is just what they're comfortable with, so that's what we use.
I understand that.
Okay, now take it.
Mr. Andy Anderson needs another T-shirt.
Yeah, really, but we're very honored to have this. And Johnny was kind enough to let me have one and his classic barbecue sauce. So
Yeah, I told him if he's a barbecue
jealous.
sauce fan, he'll like that.
Stuff.
Okay, you said this is early 80s and 90s stuff. How in the world did you ever separate stuff before any kind of program done it?
It was done on a vertical camera, but let's look at this up here real quick.
Okay.
That's the original one right here. That's the first one.
The Kenny Rogers?
Yeah, and see what we used to do.
I had a friend that airbrushed a bus for him.
Really? Is in the days before separation companies were providing SEPs for the printers, we would take it to an offset printing company and they would do the separations. And then you had to work within them and get them to understand, textile separations as opposed to t-shirt separations. So there's a difference in the dot gain and different screen angles and dot sizes and things like that.
Yes,
So
sir.
it took a little bit to get them kind of geared in, and they never worked great. And then early on with this job is when Mark Coudray and I were introduced to each other. And so that started.
Well, you and him pretty much pioneered all this.
Well, Mark did, and then I came along and kind of just worked with it in our area too. But yeah, Mark is the master.
Does any, like Taylor Swift, does she come in or just her marketing
No,
people?
we never see the artist. It's always just
I always
the market
wondered about
guys.
that.
Yeah, yeah. All quartz to a lot of the old stock colors and everything, but this has got many years of jobs and colors that are mixed that we constantly reference.
And all these are PMS mixes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Some are Wilflex, some are Rutland, some are Union. So there may be the same 185 mixed in Union, Rutland, or Wilflex.
Yeah, and you said you using the Wilflex MX system on the newer
The
stuff.
reason that we have the 3 different systems is we were doing contract work for other printers and other companies that had originally run the job with a Rutland or a Union ink, so we had to match their colors, so we got systems for all 3 different brands.
I got you.
Primarily we use the Wilflex MX. Yes, right now though.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even like on my scale,
Yeah.
you know, if I'm lazy about that, but if I get a burr next week, I mean, it shows up in that print. Yeah. Well, you know, the only ones I've ever seen is in the God Awful Fusion.
Yeah.
I've never even seen these little ones.
Cerilor, and they're not that expensive. And they've got them all different sizes and stuff. Got them in 2008. You can put anything down here. You can put online. I'm fine with that. But this is was built for my son's father-in-law, and handmade tank, handlebars, oil bag, pipes, and a full complete fade job with candy apple greens and lime golds over a silver base.
It sure is pretty.
Thank you. So it's faded. I mean, all of these are separate parts. So the thing is, and most people won't understand this, this tank comes off, so it was apart when it was painted, but it still fades in to the frame. The oil bag was apart, and it still has the fade that lines up with all this sort of stuff. And all of that had to be done in stages where you've got a base coat, then you've got one color sprayed, the next color, and all the areas around the oil bag underneath, behind the areas, the rails and everything have to have that same amount of paint on.
Because they got a match.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to take them in and out, put them on, take them off. It was about 12 and a half hours worth of solid spraying. Handmade seat. The seat is a one-off seat to go with everything.
Man.
All the lines run through the frame up here. Come up and check this out. This is your throttle. Right there, your throttle and your clutch lines run down through the frame and go to the carburetor and to the transmission.
Oh, man.
So we have little trick things like that on it.
And you said now you've been riding how long?
Well, since I was 14.
14
legally.
years old.
Yeah,
Legally.
you could get a motorcycle license in Tennessee when you're 14.
I did, yeah.
Yep. So that's part of that. This is all of these are tubs of shirts that go back many years. Like all of this stuff over here. These have.
That's like if you got to pull a shirt out and match it.
Well, that and some of my more collectible type things. But yeah, these are some of the ones like these are a lot of early process jobs. There's some Don Williams shirts, different styles and different things that, probably you don't even see the work like that anymore. Like, I think in this one, well, This was a series that we did, a Picasso series that was done for a company in Denver. And we had to do sampling and all that sort of stuff and wash testing, and they wanted a certain look to it and all that sort of thing. But this isn't the days of computer. This was hand done type of separations.
Custom label?
Yeah, it was done with airbrush and stippling and all that sort of stuff. So
My very first semi-processed job I did for a tattoo shop, and I had to mimic a stippled tattoo.
Yeah.
And I did it.
These are hand separated things. These are all done with the old Rubylith and Rubylith cut film, Letraset halftones. All kinds of things like that. This one artist here, he has done a lot of that kind of abstract Picasso-ish.
You had never printed anything from a guy from Clarksville named John Cook, have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He's really out there on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of years in them boxes, ain't it?
Also crammed in here, I'm not sure which years or what. Then we have these big things which are in the way. Which have nothing to do with any of this.
I told Andy when we was walking back down here, I had to go move my truck for a delivery, that he doesn't, I mean, he knows it, but he doesn't, it's just part of his life. But this man is screen print history, and for you guys to kind of be seeing him showing us this stuff here, I mean, I'm pretty honored myself. I've seen that print there before, and if I ain't mistaken, I had one of them a long time ago.
This is done using pencils, shading sheets, the old Letraset shading sheets, and shot on a vertical camera with real film for the separations, and a lot of layering of colors to get what we got. So the blues right here, if you want to get up here closer so you can see this, the blues, all of these blues that are in here right there are made with just one blue. It's just different percentages of the white under the blue that are making the lighter blues. And then we take the magenta and put it over the blue to get this purple background color here. We combine the blue, which is a cyan, which is one of our process blues, with this fluorescent magenta to get these purples over here. And this was before we had all of our big presses, so this was limited to about 8 colors, I think.
How long you reckon, since that was a hand and camera sep, how long did it take for the sep?
Well, we take about a week.
Golly.
Yeah. Because first of all, you think about all the black artwork is drawn with a pencil first, then hand inked, then shot on film, and then we start layering in the colors on top of that with, you know, pencil shading, doing them with pencil work on tracing paper.
And then sheet overlay?
Yeah, overlays, and then shooting the tracing paper with screened halftone, you know. Then take that and rework that, dodging it, you know, spreading it, doing whatever we want to bring areas in or areas out. And
was any of that those hand cut half-tone sheets that you'd buy that had the adhesive on the back?
There is just a tiny bit of that in here somewhere, and it's not very much. Like, you can see it in the blue right here. That's a shading sheet, what we call the shading sheet, but it's just in this little area right here. All the rest of this is shot with the camera and film. And hand stippling, as you can see that in the gray of the sheet.
Now the ones that don't have any earthly idea, and I'm not sure myself, when you shot that halftone with the film, you put it like between the camera and the artwork, and it picked it. Okay.
Right. In the old days, back in those days, there were screen sheets that you could buy, and they would be at different line counts, like 55 line or 65 line, 85 line, whatever we were going to do
Right.
for this, even lower too. And that's what you would use to screen it. Every time you did one, you turned it to get a different angle so you could build in the rosette of the halftones for the colors so that they wouldn't just lay dot on dot. We didn't do a lot of dot on dot back in those days. So it was all turned 15 degrees each time we shot a screen or a color. And that gave us the rosettes that, if you look at this close, and you won't be able to see it on your camera, but if you put a loop on it, you can see the rosette forming with the yellow, blue, and the magenta together, you know, forming what looks like a little rosette stained glass window wheel, you know, like in the churches.
Yeah.
That's what the pattern.
Resembling like a shamrock or a clover.
Yeah,
You can
it
see
actually
each
forms a
leaf.
circle.
Yeah.
But without getting too technical into it, that's basically what it is. This was an early simulated process. I don't know how long ago this was. This might have been about 12 years ago or something, but it was one of the ones we won an award with. I guess it was. Gosh, it might have been 13 years ago or so.
I asked him how many awards he had, and he kind of guessed and said he's got some. He hadn't even got up yet, so wouldn't that be a bad problem to have?
But you know, we don't do this to win awards. I do it, and I started it mainly just because I'm an artist and I wanted to reproduce my own artwork,
Yeah.
and needed a way to do that on shirts. And
Brannett said on the board the other day, he's a designer that prints instead of a printer that designs.
yeah, I started from that way and then learned the printing process. But you know, I guess you've seen some of the earlier stuff I did was back in '71, and the equipment and the techniques had changed quite a bit from '71 to 1978 when I got all the new equipment.
Oh, these new guys have got a gravy train compared to what you and me's went through.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still all fun.
That's true.
And
Anything that makes it easier is better too.
yeah, you're right. These are some cool ones. These are some of our early discharge stuff right here. These are some of our early discharge shirts. These are all discharge. Like that, done in, well, that's 95.
Yeah, that's the one they was wanting you to bring back out, isn't
Well,
it?
no, there's another one. So we did about 3 or 4 of them, but that's one. And this is a different color that it was done on. But it's all discharge.
Oh, man.
This discharge was 4-color process art separated. So we did a white discharge base and then printed 4-color process on top of that.
What ink did you use back then? Was
I
it
think
that
it was
matte?
Rutland.
Was it Rutland?
Yeah, we were using a lot of Rutland back then.
I'd got some in a sample when
Yeah.
it first re-come back out. That was
Yeah.
a Manicky or something like that.
Yeah.
That stuff stunk so bad you couldn't stay in there with
Well,
it.
the Rutland was the process ink for the most part, and the discharge was through a company called CHT. So that was Charlie Leach.
Them guys ain't even gonna know what that label there is.
That's old Fruit of the Loom.
Yep. I used to print a bunch of them Screen Star Basic too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is only, you know, this isn't too old, but it's a lot of neat stuff.
I would say.
I'd have to go through all of this stuff to figure out what years I've got and what samples are here.
Old samples don't sell.
Yeah. This might have some good stuff in it. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you. This is real good stuff. This is actual hand-separated, early simulated process stuff. This goes back to this is 1993. But so this is in the later stages of when we did that. This is one of the first ones. this was, I don't have a date on this. This was probably 91 back then, but this isn't the original simulated stuff, but this is one of the techniques that we did. So what we were doing here, we only had a 6-color press. Keep that in mind. So we used, this is all Union Max Opaques. So we used the inks as underbase under a color. So like up here, it might have this light cream that we mixed under the blue or the white under the blue or whatever, but we didn't put down a solid white base under any of this stuff. It was the ink itself and colors, overlapping colors to get other colors.
And that was with Max Opaque?
Yeah, all Max Opaque, you know, so all of these were like mixed colors to get some of these things, but it's only 6 colors.
Man, oh man.
So, and it's done with a pencil drawing. Started out with a pencil drawing on like artist vellum paper.
Yeah.
And then break each one of the colors down into a plate or a separate piece of film, shoot that on our vertical camera like I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
And screen it, and then move on to the next one until we had all 6 of them shot, and then put it on the press and see what happens.
Let her go.
Let her rip, yeah. And this was a whole series of designs we did that we sold in gift stores and zoos and things like that. We call them our pastel series. So we had a
And now we're still in Max Opaque in here?
all Max.
Golly.
Yeah. All Max Opaque, and only 6 colors. So like on this one, you can really see that the yellow was the underbase with the blue going over the top. We didn't have a green. There is no green ink in here on this one. The green was made up from the blue going on top of this. Well, I take that back. I may be wrong because that's, you know, 20-something years ago, so it probably did have a Kelly green that I see in here now. So the Kelly green, the blue, the yellow, the red, and I'm not sure what all else, but
You probably didn't print black on that one,
well,
did you?
and we didn't print a 5th color or 6th color because we had the flash on the press. So it went 1 color flash and then all the rest of them. So there, on some of these there may only been 4.
Golly.
It's hard to, you know, to remember all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
but,
I know.
it's kind of cool. This is an early 4-color process one that was done from a friend of mine's piece of artwork.
That's not an Acme design, is it?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Did you ever do anything for them?
no, This was one of our prints that we did that we sold and marketed. This is 1990, and this is actually an early simulated because there are no process colors in this. This is using like 5 or 6 straight colors with colors over colors, like white underneath the red to make the tones of the red and the cardinal, the same thing in the browns for the eagle here, you know, different things like that.
Well, you and Mark, people like you guys, is what got these other guys going on trying to do this computer software to turn it out to the rest of the world,
Well,
like where
Mark
peons
did
could do
that.
it.
Yeah, he did it, and he, you know, he still has a separation company doing separations, doing simulated 4-color process, all that stuff.
That guy's on the ball.
It's called NetSeps. If any of the guys ever need good separations, you know, they still are in business and they're
And
still
you
on.
wouldn't get a better one, probably.
I know, and they're very reasonable. You know, now since it's all on computer, it's
Well, see, he's so much like you, I can't ever remember him even promoting it or saying anything about it.
Yeah, I know. But it's really, really good. This is an artist that we sold his work for probably back in the 90s too. His name is T.P. Spear. Kind of a bizarre type of a piece of art there, but it's pretty cool.
Well, some of them artists are kind of bizarre type people
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, this was a line of cat designs that we did, and this is all in-house art. when you see these things like this is our artists that were doing these, and then we separated them and printed them. There's another one. We still sell this one. I think we've got it on our, well, we don't have a website anymore that has any of that sort of thing. But, I think that's pretty much some of the older stuff like that.
And I did tell him that all you guys said hi. He knew every one of you by name, which ain't surprising to y'all.
A lot of them known for a long time.
I couldn't talk him into getting the shop guys to do the hi y'all, so we won't be able to do that.
They're busy. They have a lot of work to do today before they get out of here, and they want to leave early.
I'm sure. Long weekend. And they deserve it, running like you said they do.
Yeah.
Now that right there, that board, that's an old film press, isn't it?
It's a
Punch.
hand punch, yeah. Sure is. Yeah. There's one that y'all have probably seen online here recently. This is old Josh Turner a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
One with. Yeah.
Man, what you can do with those faces and people and portraits is just, I mean, amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. We've worked really hard at that because that's one of our primary customers. You know, it's our source of income, so we have to be able to do something good.
Well, see, back when I had all the mall stores and stuff, I bought from Brockham and Winterland
Oh,
and
did you?
all
Yeah.
those guys. I mean, I probably sold some of your prints because
No,
I had a whole
I-
nature line from
Yeah.
blue liquid,
Oh yeah.
liquid blue.
Blue, yeah.
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 At one time, I had 500 different shirts displayed in the biggest store that I had.
That's unreal. I'm not sure what all these are. These are not ours. These are just random stuff in here.
Andy, I've worked myself to death and made the mall and the utilities and the employees money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I walked out with the least of all of them.
Underwater photographs. This is one I always thought this was one of our neat ones, and this was, I think that was a cover of an Impressions magazine once, way back. There's another one. I always
Now,
thought
I've
these
seen
were-
that one, yeah.
Yeah. I always thought that these were some of the nice four-color process ones. This is, you can actually see the overlay of the halftones here making up some of the colors
Yep.
in that one. But yeah, this is when we had to do it with 4 or 5 colors. Because we didn't have a 10-color press or even an 8-color. This is our old 6-color press.
Well, you know, everything on my site that I show is 6 or less. So, I mean, I'm following in you guys' footsteps, but
So I understand. I know how it is. It's 1988.
and I'm too old for another payment, so I won't never get another
Well,
press.
That's what we're in the same boat. That's what the discussion of.
Chet Atkins,
Yeah, that's another.
one of the greatest guitar players in
yeah,
history.
that's another one of our award winning prints. Yep. That stands for Certified Guitar Player. That's CGP.
CGP.
That's another one. That's when that was our second gold award back in, I think it was '87, and all of this was done with just 4 colors. So even the colors up here were screened to make up all of the different secondaries and primaries that are up there.
Was you still sapping that one on the camera?
We sent out on this one. This one was done probably by Fred Clark back in those days.
Probably on a drum scan.
Yes. And that's yeah, that for the most part, that's when we were sending it out to the separators back in the probably the late 80s and the 90s. They were taking the film art or the art that we made up and stripped in to the photograph and then put it on a scanner.
Golly.
Which was a, you know, like you said, the old drum scanner, and would spit out the separations. And that, that's the
Isn't
one-
it amazing how far screen printing's come?
It really is. And that's, still think that, we've really gotten away from doing that because we have so much access to the software programs that are out there to do this kind of stuff. There's still some companies doing separations out there that do really, really nice high-end work. And
Well, like Scott, you seen some of his work on SPC? He doesn't do any plug-ins,
Yeah.
everything's, hand on the computer.
exactly.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, Mark's still doing his at NetSebs, and
I sure did enjoy all those pictures that Mark took when he was overseas. Did you see those?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
And there's, I think that Fred Clark, the guy that bought Fred Clark, is Serachrome, and they're still doing stuff. So there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah.
Just got to look. But that's pretty much it, John. That's the whole shebang.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you fooling with
Oh,
me.
you're welcome.
And we already know it's amazing, but now they kind of got a little bit more kind of back room look to your operation. That's it, guys.
That's about what it is, dude.
Hi, y'all.